Here we are, back on the YouTube, looking a little bit hot and sweaty after my morning run, but just had a fantastic start to the morning. 12k along the beach. It's 3rd of November now, and the temperature in Dubai and the weather is just perfect now. Like, you can run in the morning without experiencing severe dehydration, and my stats on that run, I'll put a screenshot up, I think were probably the best I've ever had in terms of heart rate versus pace. So it was a 5-minute 11 per kilometer pace for 12k, and average heart rate was 143. You'll see on the breakdown of the run, it ranged from about 135 to 150, so just trying to keep my heart rate below 150 at all times. But it's nice to do these easy runs at a slightly quicker pace, because it is a little bit boring running at, you know, that kind of like 5:45 to 6-minute pace, which I was having to do in summer in order to keep my runs aerobic. So yeah, just a sick start to the morning. Had a Starbucks cold brew and a protein bar, and just spent about 45 minutes responding to messages. I'm having to do that every day now, just with the amount of clients that we are coaching at the moment. If I don't iron out like a certain amount of time in my day to respond to them, the responses don't happen, and it's obviously not good from a service standpoint. So yeah, just gonna drive back now, and then in this vlog I am gonna talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk about business, how that's going. We've just had our best month ever with the coaching brand, so I'll break that down and what we've done to achieve that, and my current training and my current nutrition approach. So I'm going to split the vlog into 3 sections. And I've not been slacking with the YouTube, but I've just realized that you really do have to dedicate more time to not only obviously videoing what you're doing, editing it as well, but actually having a firm strategy in place. Otherwise you just end up vlogging a day and it's the same as the last one. So I ironed out a little bit of a content strategy in terms of the vlogs that I'm going to be doing myself, and I'm going to actually make sure that I get at least 2 videos made per month with my videographer who's been doing all my Instagram content, just purely to get more videos out, because I'm really enjoying doing it. This is a part of the business that I love, is the marketing, and I've had some really good feedback on the vlogs and the educational videos that I've been putting out. So this is a little bit of accountability from my side to get it out. But yeah, I'll pick up later on when I'm home. Okay, back on the vlog again, twice in the last 2 hours. Doing amazing here. Right, so just wanted to give a bit of an update into where I'm at with my business. I know a few people are interested. I know there's a fair few online coaches, people that are starting, that follow me, and I more just want to make it so that I can look back in a year and hopefully we'll have doubled what we've done here. But yeah, so just a bit of background into my coaching business if people are new here. So I've been coaching like face-to-face and online for almost just over 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years next May. So I started in lockdown 2020, and I've been fully online for just over a year. And that was exactly when I moved to Dubai. So I moved on the 1st September 2022, and that's when I moved everything online, because obviously I lost all my face-to-face clients. I had intended on doing some PT in Dubai, but that never happened because the online started to pick up. And I also started working with my mentor, Mark Coles, just before I moved here, and that really has helped me grow things significantly. So when I started with Mark, I was by myself, training about 30 people online, and now we are a team of 3 coaches, myself, 2 other coaches, and we have almost 110 clients now. So that's the growth in 14 months, which has been pretty insane. I actually spoke at his event that he hosted in Dubai about 2 weeks ago. It was like an event for online coaches, and it was like a high performance event, so he asked me to speak at that and explain my story, which is pretty cool. But it's always good to look back and see how far you've come, which is part of the reason I'm doing this. So as I say, we're working with about 110 people now, and we're growing at a really nice, healthy rate. It's the 3rd of November now, and October was our best month in terms of revenue and the highest amount of clients that we've dealt with, so that's amazing. And a bit of a strange month really, because I think it was probably also the month that I've enjoyed myself the most since I've been online coaching. I think I've got starting to get a good balance between social and work. Like, I still work incredibly hard, don't get me wrong, but I'm learning to take some downtime and spend more time with friends and stuff, which I've definitely struggled with over the last 3 years. And I think you do have to go through that phase of just working 7 days a week, doing the shit work, just grinding it out, without much kind of like playtime. But I'd say now, I would say I'm definitely working smarter in the sense that I'm putting a lot of effort into building the team and trying to build a team that are going to help me grow it further in the future, buying back my own time so I can focus on the things that I enjoy the most and that I'm best at. So that would be just coaching and working on the marketing. That's why I enjoy the most. So yeah, that was a great month, and I'm really starting to kind of enjoy the game of business now, like trying to beat my numbers each month. So I definitely want to try and improve in November and December and then going into the new year. Just in terms of building the team and hiring, so as I say, I've got 2 performance coaches on board now. Dylan's been with me for over a year, absolutely fantastic. Brought him on when we were about the 50 client mark, and I felt like it was necessary to bring someone on then. Didn't want the standard of service to drop, so he's really helped me. Then we brought Harry on 3 months ago, who's been a great help as well. Really good nutritionist, so he's providing a lot of advice to people in the program with that alongside training. And I'm looking for a new coach to join us soon, and looking to give them some clients in the new year, but it does take time to obviously find the right person. They've got to be the right fit for the brand, and have similar kind of values to myself, and it also does take time to train them up as well. So that is a job now for the new year. And then inside the program, we are just purely focusing on retention, so trying to keep clients for longer, make them feel kind of part of the journey, just constantly trying to improve the quality of service that we actually give to each client. And that's what we do. It's one-to-one tailored coaching. It's not generic programs. That we deal closely with every single client. We know exactly what's going on in their lives and stuff like that. We really help them with that side of things as well. And obviously results, which is going to help the brand grow in the short term and the long run. So retention, quality of service and results is the main focus now. We're not trying to make the program fancy. Just at the core, just good quality coaching is what we're working on. So that's a bit of an update. Couldn't really be happier with how it's going. And yeah, so that's where we're at now, and hopefully we can see some growth going into November. So I was watching that clip back there and I realised that I mentioned 2 things that I intended on talking about. So if anyone is a coach watching this and you're wanting to like hire a coach to work with you, and you're wondering whether to do it, I would say definitely do it, because it's going to allow you to grow your business much quicker. As I say, it's going to help you buy back some of your own time to actually focus on other things that are going to then grow the business faster in the future. And I never really used to understand what the whole kind of like team thing was about. My mentor used to go on about it all the time, but I like fully appreciate that now. Like I've got 3 people working for me, and it's just allowed me to scale at a much quicker rate. So that's definitely essential. And the next thing, probably the most exciting thing, is we're planning a fitness retreat to Marbella with the boys, the coaches, and a few of the clients, which is going to be sick. So I spent a couple of weeks in Marbella this summer. Absolutely loved it. It's not a similar vibe to Dubai, but similar in the sense that there's a lot of other coaches there, some great gyms. So I'm going to be heading there in summer and going to get the boys out for at least a week, and a few of our clients going to fancy joining as well. So I'll probably do some like training sessions, a few meals, maybe some yoga, that sort of stuff. But I think it's always good to have things that we're looking forward to and working towards, so that it'll kind of motivate us to keep pushing. And Dubai is just disgusting in summer, so I'll definitely be leaving. And on that note, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my apartment, because I'm moving out of this place in January, and I'm trying to figure out whether I take somewhere for a year, even though I'm leaving in summer, or take somewhere monthly. But yeah, no idea yet. Right, people, back in the lab. Saturday afternoon now. I've just been into the marina to see one of my clients from Saudi Arabia. He's actually British, but he works there, so he was over in Dubai for a week or so just met up with him for the first time. It's always cool to meet people that you've been coaching online. So we had probably the world's best acai bowl. I'll put a photo here, I'll try and do that. But I'm just finishing off my last client check-ins for the week and editing this vlog. I'm going to try and get it up today or tomorrow. Really going to try and commit to getting 1 vlog up a week. If I could do that, I'd be really pleased, because I want to push this channel, because I've had some good feedback. But I'm going to run over my nutritional approach at the moment. to help me build muscle, build some strength back, and fuel my running performance. So Saturdays at the moment for me, to be honest, are just work and getting ready for my Sunday long runs. I did actually prep for a marathon 2 years ago, and it reminds me of then when I was just building my business and literally just eating loads of carbs and doing runs on the weekend. But I love it. It's kind of, well, it's the 11th of November now. I've got plenty of social events coming up at the end of this month in December, so I'm quite happy to just lock in for the next few weeks and hit this marathon before Christmas, and then enjoy Christmas and then start my marathon prep for Barcelona. So on the topic of carbs, I've just been prepping my carbs for my long run tomorrow. So I'm gonna try and start at 6:30 in the morning. So maybe about 2.5 hours of running, doing 30k tomorrow. I'm only doing 3,000 calories today, about 430 grams of carbs, which should be enough, because I'm gonna actually have some food before the run tomorrow. So I'm gonna have a bagel, and then on the run, I'm gonna be taking on these gels here. So I've got 3 gels. Last week I did 25k and I only had 2 gels, so I know that if I'm going to push it up to 30, I definitely need an extra one. So these are the gels that I'm going with at the moment. I really like them. Some people say that they're too sweet and too thick, but I've got a fairly strong gut, so I seem to be able to handle them. So they're the goo gels. How many 100 calories, I think it's 24 grams of carbs. So you've got some amino acids and sodium as well, which is essential because the amount that I'm sweating on these runs in Dubai is crazy. We need to put that back in. So if I'm doing 30k, I'll probably take one of these gels every 8k's. But yeah, so we've got lemon and lime. I've had that one before. Jet blackberry, that one's decent as well. I've not had this one. Campfire s'mores, so bit of a mix there. And I'm also going to take this on as well. So that'll be, what is that? It's about 100 grams of carbs between these. Like ideally would like to do a little bit more, but I'm gonna have a pre-run bagel as well, so it should be fine. Like I'm not one for taking on a shitload of carbs I've run in the past, but I know I'm gonna have to get better at doing that if I'm gonna be running this fast marathon next year. So that's the plan. The one thing that that is essential if you're running in Dubai, which I am, is fluid intake. I did a half marathon a couple of weeks ago, and I just simply did not take on enough water, simply because I don't really like taking on a lot of water when I'm running fast, but you have to do it here, otherwise you just dehydrate and you see your heart rate go up, and it's much harder to maintain those paces. So tomorrow I'm gonna have at least 500 ml before a run. I'm gonna carry a litre on me and drink that, and then for the last 9k after the half marathon, I'm gonna take that Gatorade on. Reason being, I'm pacing one of my friends to a 1:45 half marathon, so that's obviously 21k, and I'm going to carry on and do the extra 9, so that's my plan. But I'll try and video some of that tomorrow and put it in my next vlog, but that is the plan, and I'm just going to run over my nutrition at the moment. Okay, so going to give a bit of a rundown of my nutritional approach at the moment. Now, I've followed these principles for like the last 5 months, and this is in order to get the most out of my training at the moment, which I always talk about is balancing strength training, building muscle, and improving my running performance. Now my goals at the moment are, as I said earlier in the video, or later on in the video, I'm not sure how I'm going to place this, is to build some muscle, build that strength up. Obviously they come together, and improve my running duration, so build my longer runs up. And it goes without saying, obviously nutrition is incredibly important to do that. When I was just weight training and bodybuilding, I just very much followed in if it fits your macros approach, just hitting total calories and hitting protein target each day. Didn't really look into carbs and fats too much, but if you want to hybrid train, it's essential that you're getting enough carbohydrates in and you're not going excessively high on fat intake, which is something that I'm not gonna lie is I've struggled with, because I do naturally like to eat, I guess in the past I'd enjoyed eating a moderate to high fat diet. I like, bacon, whole eggs, avocado and things like that. So I have had to make some changes to my diet in order to stick to the calories that I need to, because alongside obviously performance, I'm heavily physique focused. So I want to maintain a lean look year round. It's important for me. I enjoy being leaner, I feel healthier, and obviously it's good for the brand as well. So essentially what I'm doing at the moment is, the best way to summarize it is I'm consuming more calories on days that I do more, which obviously makes a lot of sense. So this will be going after my training split in the video, I think, but I'll run over it in case I switch it around. So Monday, we've got a run and a lift. So I eat about 3,300 calories on that day, higher carbs. Essentially the difference between the lower calorie days and the higher calorie days is just increased carb intake. I'm always keeping my protein between 200 and 220 per day, and I'm trying to keep my fat at between 60 and 80 grams a day. So there is a little bit of flexibility there. Like I do take my nutrition very seriously, but at the same time I'm not gonna go down to the gram each day. I'm not a bodybuilder, that's not the goal. So Monday will be what we would call a high day because I'm training twice. Tuesday is just a leg day, so I bring my calories down there, just bring the carbs down, so calories are around 3,000. Wednesday, same thing, just an interval run, 3,000 calories. Thursday, I actually do a lower calorie day on Thursday, just simply because in order to kind of maintain maintenance throughout the week, this is the way that me and my coach have manipulated my calories. So we put a lower day in on Thursday, it's just an upper body training session, so it's not quite as intense as a day where I'm doing legs or I'm doing a double day. Friday is a double day, so I'm back up at 3,300 calories there, do a run in the morning and a lift in the evening. Saturday is the day before my long run, but I don't actually train, so this is my only full day off training. I'll just do some mobility work and hitting around 3,000 calories on that day, just to make sure I get a good amount of carbs in me, to make sure my glycogen stores are topped up and I'm ready for the long run on Sunday. And at the moment on Sunday, depending on how big the run is, I'm eating between 3,300 and 3,600 calories, which is obviously a lot, but tomorrow I'm running 30k. I'm probably going to burn 2,000 calories when I do that. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I have seen some quite significant fluctuations in my body weight over the last couple of weeks, which always happens to me when we increase carbs, obviously because you're holding on to more water. You've got more food in your body as well, so you're going to be weighing in a little bit heavier. What I expect to happen is my body weight's gone from about 79 to about 80.5, 81, so quite a significant increase there. But I expect, just off knowing my own body and the amount of training that I'm doing, I'm hitting around 17,000 steps a day, obviously inclusive of the running, I think it'll probably come back down into the 79s next week. So that's what I expect. But with the hybrid training, it's a constant balance between fueling for your performance goals, but not over fueling to the point where you, for example, put on too much body fat and it affects the way you look. So that's what I'm running at the moment. We'll always follow those principles. They make sense for the style of training that I'm doing, but I might alter calorie intake and carb intake going forward, but I'm always keeping the fat intake and the protein intake the same. It's just the carbs that we switch out. So that's the setup at the moment. Okay guys, so I thought the easiest way to run over my training split at the moment would simply just be to put it down in a presentation and just go through it. So this is my current hybrid training setup, obviously running and lifting. Hybrid training, as I've talked about before, it could be triathlon with strength training, but the style of training that I enjoy the most with the hybrid training is isolating the running and then doing my strength and bodybuilding work alongside that. So my current goals, building up to a marathon, not an actual race, just doing the distance, and then building my strength back up. Strength has dipped a little bit, just because I was putting so much effort into my quicker runs with my half marathon prep. So just a quick run over of, I guess, what I'm trying to achieve through the strength training. So as I've said, focus on building the strength back up on the main compound lifts after a slight dip in strength, just due to, because I was prepping for a couple of half marathon races, in order to do that effectively, you have to be doing 2 speed sessions a week, and those are quite neurally taxing. They're more taxing on the body than just doing an easy run or a longer run, I found anyway. So I was doing 4 runs a week. I was doing an easy run, and a hard interval session like at the track, splits of around 3:15 to 3:45 per kilometer for anywhere between 400 meters and a K. So that was pretty taxing. Then I was doing a longer tempo session as well at half marathon pace. So it was pretty taxing, and you just don't have the energy to put 100% effort into strength training when you're doing that sort of stuff. But I still managed to maintain a good level of strength there. So I'm just trying to build that back up on the main compound lifts, squats, lunges, deadlifts, pendlay rows, pull-ups, shoulder press, bench press, things like that. So I'm doing 4 strength sessions a week at the moment, 2 upper and 2 lower. I'm going to run over an actual week of training in a second, but that is the split that I'm running at the moment. And I think I've found that it's probably optimal for someone who's wanting to do a lot of running as well. I have done 5 strength training sessions in the past alongside the running, and I just found it was too much. I found by the end of the week, that last strength training session was just a poor quality. I didn't have the energy because I'd already done a lot of strength and a lot of running earlier on in the week. So I always periodize my rep ranges. I have a coach that programs things for me. Basically what that means is you're moving through different phases of training and different rep ranges over time. You're not sticking to like 8 to 10 reps year round, because one, you will get very bored of the training if you do that, and two, it's not optimal for progression, especially if someone like myself who's been lifting for over a decade. So we cycle through different phases of high volume, and then intensity, where the rep ranges drop. And we build what's called absolute strength. So that's the way that I train year round. And generally the blocks of training are 4 weeks long. If I've had a suboptimal week due to maybe, illness or travel or something like that, sometimes I'll extend the block of training to 5 weeks, but generally they are 4 weeks long. And it fits quite nicely with the strength training, the running. As I've said, building up to a marathon just to actually complete the distance, doing 4 runs per week, between 55 to 65 Ks worth of volume. So I did 55K last week. This week I'm on track to do 60 this week. So this week, for example, 10K easy run on Monday. I did 10K at the track yesterday, worth of intervals, warm-ups and cool-downs. I've got 10K tomorrow and then 30K on Sunday. So I'm hitting 60 this week, and then it'll be a little bit more next week probably. So at the moment I'm doing 2 easy runs and just 1 speed session and 1 faster long run at the weekend. The way that the running is structured and periodized, we do 3-week builds where the volume will increase slightly each week in terms of distance. So for example, 55 one week, 60 the next week, maybe 62, 65 the week after that, and then the volume will drop in the 4th week. That's basically just to give your body a little bit of a break. It's to give your legs a little bit of a chance to recover as well before you go back into a build. That's the way that I've always trained for running when prepping for races. It's the way that we train clients as well, and it's really, really effective. And you definitely do need to take that 4th recovery week if you are doing the hybrid training, because obviously you'll be doing a lot of weight training alongside that. And something that I'm trying to do at the moment is actually line up my recovery run weeks with a deload week from the strength training, where I bring the intensity down in the gym as well, and basically just give my body a bit of a break on that week. Still training, but just dropping the intensity. So just a quick rundown of my current weekly structure of training. I did actually cover this in a video about 4 months ago. I've always kind of followed a similar structure to this. I found it just works well with my routine, my lifestyle, and for recovery purposes as well. So Monday's a double day, 10K easy run in the morning. This is a recovery run in the sense that it is the day after my longer run on a Sunday. So at the moment my legs are quite sore on this Monday, so it's actually quite good to just get out and loosen things up. Definitely trying to keep the heart rate below 150 beats per minute, preferably closer to 140. And then early afternoon I'll go to the gym and hit an upper body session. So this is a horizontal focus session where I'm hitting a heavy bench press variation. At the moment I'm doing dumbbell incline press and hitting some heavy rows as well. There's obviously some accessory work alongside that with some delts and triceps. So that is my first strength session of the week. Tuesday, just one workout on Tuesday, just purely leg day, squat focus. I tend to do this early afternoon at about 1 p.m. I'll have got 2 decent meals in by then, high carb, so I've got plenty of fuel going into the workout, and then I'll have a meal after that as well. So my squat session is made up of some hip mobility work at the start. Always a little bit tight for me. I'm obviously quite heavy for a runner, hovering between 79 and 80 kilos, so hips do take a little bit of a battering, so I'm always looking to loosen those up. Always hitting a heavy squat variation, whether that's barbell squats or heavy split squats. At the moment I'm doing barbell squats. Haven't decided whether to keep those in just because they are nearly taxing, and I actually find when I squat heavy my legs just blow up quickly, and it does make running a little bit more difficult with chafe and stuff like that. So I might actually sub these out for a single leg variation. And then we always go on to some functional lunge variations, just running specific stuff. Again, this is all programmed by my coach, and I'll always hit some leg extensions and do some core at the end of the squat session. Wednesday, just an interval run in the morning, first thing, usually fasted. Usually do this at the track. So for example, this is the session I did yesterday. 2K warm up, 4x1500 meters for the main work with 2 minutes rest in between, just a walk there, and then the 2K cool down. So that was 10Ks of volume, and I'm trying to keep it at around that amount midweek. I don't want to be doing too much midweek because obviously I'm doing these bigger runs on the weekend. Thursday, upper body, vertical focus, which is what I'm doing this afternoon. So heavy shoulder press variation, usually overhead press or seated dumbbell press, heavy pull-ups or pull-downs, and then accessory work again, delts and biceps, and a little bit of core at the end there. So as you can probably see, my strength work is very Minimal in the sense that I'm just sticking to the key kind of bread and butter compound movements. I don't do anything fancy. Majority of my training is free weight alongside, you know, some pull downs and things like that. That's just because I've been bodybuilding for coming up to 13 years now. I've built a really good base of strength and muscle for what I want anyway. So I don't need to go and do a crazy amount of volume and a crazy amount of different exercises on each muscle group. So I'm not really trying to add a lot of size. I'm just trying to maintain my muscle mass and kind of work on weak areas. It's actually quite easy to maintain muscle if you are focusing on strength and intensity. You don't need to be doing crazy volume, and I just kind of like it because obviously I'm doing a lot of training through the running as well. I just don't have the capacity to be, you know, in the gym for 2 hours each session. Friday, another double day, 10k easy run again, sub 150 heart rate. Not pushing it here whatsoever, obviously because I'm trying to save my legs for the Sunday long run. So yeah, purely just clocking some miles there. And secondly, because I do deadlifts, posterior chain focused leg day in the afternoon, evening, so I really need to be saving my energy for that. I used to do like a half marathon paced workout in the morning and then going in and doing legs in the evening. I really did used to struggle in that session there, so that is another reason for me keeping it quite easy in the morning. Mess this up here, but it basically should say, you know, I'm hitting deadlifts, hitting hamstring curls, and then some single leg deadlifts as well with some core as well. So that's what I'm focusing on the leg day, really trying to bring my deadlift back up because it did used to be a strong point of mine. It's still pretty good, to be fair. I'm fairly strong and it's probably my strongest lift. Saturday, full rest day, just literally doing some foam rolling, some light mobility work. This is more just kind of like dynamic stretching, getting ready for the Sunday long run. And I do always find when I do that mobility work on Saturday, I feel much better going into that Sunday long run. And at the moment, I'm hitting between 25 and 35k on that long run. So I did 25 last Sunday, I'm doing 30k this weekend, and then next weekend, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll probably bump it up to 32, 35. Plan is to take a recovery week and then do a marathon. So that's a rundown of my training week. Thought I'd go a little bit more in depth and actually just explain the exercise I'm doing in there. But yeah, so I'm going to cover nutrition next.